Oh, look at those beauties. Look at them. The water deluge nozzles are being installed. Yes, you guessed it. Those massive water pumps used to dampen the roar of rocket engines when lifting off the ground. Hey, welcome back. There's a lot of things happening at Starbase that we have to talk about. After months patiently waiting, a Starship has finally made it to one of the launch pads. This time it sits on suborbital pad B. The last time we saw a Starship on one of the launch pads, the orbital integration tower was 7 sections smaller. It is simply mind-blowing how far the progress at Starbase, the spaceport that doesn't exist, has come. Ship 20 is now undergoing final preparations for its upcoming tests. The first cryogenic test is believed to take place next Tuesday, the 24th of August, since a road and beach closure has been scheduled, even though this could also be for a mere pressure testing. The heat shield tiles still have to be finished. Many of them are still marked in red, green or blue, and some corners around the flaps remain uncovered. Besides, I can't help but wonder how they are going to cover the areas where the lifting hooks are attached. I guess it will happen after the full stack, but I really don't know for sure. Do you guys have any theory as to how they are going to do it? Also, speaking of flaps, Elon gave us a really interesting update regarding the forward flaps. There seems to be a design flaw, so they're going to make them smaller, further forward to the top, and slightly inward rotated. Also, thanks to Elon, we finally know that Starship 20 should be ready for launch sometime in September. However, this doesn't mean that we will see Starship go into orbit as soon as it is ready, since they still have to wait for the FAA's permission to be able to conduct the first orbital flight, which many hope it is going to happen soon, but no one really knows for sure. According to SpaceX president, they hope to get Starship to orbit this year, and he also mentioned that they are working on the technology for the windows on Starship, more specifically on the radiation resistance shield and impact resistance. Besides Ship 20 sitting on suborbital pad B, the next biggest undertaking at the launch site seems to be the quick disconnect arms. The crews keep working 24/7 on these monsters, which together will form the Megazilla that will be responsible for catching Super Heavy and Starship in the future. In this picture you can see a possible attaching point for the QD arms. As you saw at the beginning of the video, the SpaceX crew is making rapid progress at the launch mount, and they have begun installing the water deluge pumps that will prevent Starship from destroying the launch site when all 33 Raptor engines begin to roar at the same time. Our beloved Booster 3 has been disassembled. It was the first fully stacked booster to ever make it out onto the launch pad and be tested, and now its cycle is over. Thank you Booster 3, you served us well. Now let's jump over to the production side. There have been Raptor engines coming and going pretty much every day as they are being tested, and if everything works properly, they are then delivered again back to the production site. A new type of nose cone has been spotted, looking much more smooth and elegant. I cannot wait to see them fully stacked and tiled up. That will be a sight to behold. A new thrust pack, possibly for Booster 5, has been spotted. The aft dome for Ship 21 has been already sleeved, as Booster 4 seems to be almost ready to finally roll out of the high bay again, possibly on Monday the 23rd of August, since there is also a road closure scheduled for that day, however with no beach closures, so that means it is most likely for moving things. And by far the biggest undertaking happening at the production site is the construction of a new high bay, which is going to be twice as wide as the current high bay and is meant to highly accelerate the production of Starships in the future. This thing is going to be massive. Speaking of massive, Blue Origin is facing a massive exodus of employees, presumably as a consequence of the escalating fight between Blue Origin's leadership and NASA. As some of you may already know, Blue Origin lost NASA's HLS contract to SpaceX earlier this year, and as a consequence of that, Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin's leadership have decided to take NASA to court. Blue Origin has lost more than a dozen key leaders and top engineers this summer, many of them doing so right after Jeff Bezos' spaceflight. One of these engineers has found its way into the SpaceX ranks. Next in the news, Relativity Space is preparing its Terran 1, which is the world's first 3D printed rocket, for a debut next year. It will launch from Cape Canaveral in early 2022, and as of right now, stage 2 has passed cryopressure proof test and hydromechanical buckling test on the structural test stand. I wish you all a very nice Sunday, and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye.